the volume's given, so I'm just going to do the cone because it's the first one. So I'm going to have 425 equals 1/3 pi r squared times, I'm going to go ahead and put the 7 there, okay, because it's given to me. So you can do this you can do as much or as little as you want. The one thing I would tell you is to wait to plug in the pi for the very end. So you can either make it 7/3 and multiply by 3/7. You can multiply the left side, honestly, what I would probably do just to make sure that I don't screw this up would be to multiply both sides by 3 first so I can get rid of the 1/3, and then I would come back and divide by the 7. Okay? So that way, the least amount of things possible for me to mess up would have the 7 pi r squared. And to be perfectly honest with you, you could divide all of it by 7 pi if you want, because I don't think that 1,275 is going to be divisible by 7. Okay? So it's going to give me a decimal anyway. So I would just group the 7 and the pi together because pi is a number that's never going to stop. So I'm looking at 1,275 divided by 7 pi is equal to r squared. Well, how am I going to get rid of the squared? What do I need to do to both sides? Take the square root, right? So if I take the square root, then I'm going to have r equals, and then it just becomes going to making sure that, one, I type it into the calculator right, because I'm probably not going to be able to know what this is right off the top of my head. Okay? Because 7 pi is something over, probably around 22 something. Okay? And the big thing is I would stay away from 3.14. I wouldn't do anything with the 7 pi, or with the pi at least, until the very end. Okay? Because then you're going to get a more exact answer. Because the more times that you use like 3.14 and numbers like that, the more times you use an abbreviated answer or abbreviated number, the further off you're going to get from the exact answer. Does that make sense? So if I have the 1275 divided by 7 pi, I want to make sure that whenever I hit the square root button, depending on what I have, whenever I can get this to come up, there we go. So if I take the square root, maybe, so whenever I take the 1275 and divide it by 7 pi, .614. Did it ask for it in like 3 decimal places or 2 decimal places? I can't remember. 3. Okay. So 7.614. Now, if you didn't get this exact number because you did things a little different or a little bit out of order, it was probably because you simplified kind of in the middle. That's why I wouldn't simplify anything until the very end. Okay? Not saying this is this is as close that you're going to get to the exact answer as possible. But like if you get something maybe a little bit, most likely probably a little bit bigger of a number, okay, that's probably why.